What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I've been on a little bit of a just a burst of making videos, and today is no exception because gas continues. Gas continues, and I've ventured into a spot that I haven't been before. Some of you guys may or may not know the history of my camera stuff. Well, maybe I should hold on to that for a second. Wait a second. Let me update you on this. The Fuji GFX. Not for me. It's just not for me. Between its size, its cost, and I mean, I knew the limited use case. Like, I'm not acting like, oh, it surprised me. I knew. It's just not for me. So I am going to return that. So that's going to go back. I'll put some photos up as we're talking right now of some of the things I got. I'll just say this: Fuji colors, phenomenal. The output is unique. It's fantastic. Some surprising things: the high ISO performance, not great. I have that kit lens that was a little slower, so that was a bit of a problem. But again, if you're doing landscapes and portraiture, you're usually controlling your lighting, and so that, or you can do long exposures, not a big deal. So just for me, it wasn't what I wanted to do, and so I decided to turn it back. So I continued my search, right? And as you guys know, I was considering the OM1 at one point. I canceled that. I'll talk about that more in a future video coming up. But I've arrived somewhere else in Gasland because there was a camera that struck me as like, maybe this is the perfect camera. The X-T4 was in there. It was in consideration for sure. It's not the X-T4. It is. It's this guy right here. This is the Canon R6. Now, why would this strike me as the perfect camera? Well, for a couple reasons. One, it has a flippy screen. I hate flippy screens for photography, but I do video stuff, so I need them. Now, I wish it had like a GH6 type flippy screen where it goes out and up, but GH6 is pretty much alone in that, maybe the S1H as well. It has amazing eye autofocus. The full frame sensor is nice. It's weather sealed, not like Olympus, but it is. Dual card slots. But what made it kind of a perfect option is that Canon has two prime lenses, and they're budget prime lenses that keep the footprint of a typically big full frame camera small. And that is the 16mm f2.8 that's on here right now, and also this cheap little nifty 50mm 1.8. That's the two lenses I got with it. Now, I will at some point get like a bigger L-mount piece of glass that's a better optical lens and better weather sealing, all that kind of stuff. But for vlogging, this keeps it super small. A little bigger than the X-T3, but manageable. A little bigger than like an EM1 Mark II or Mark III or an OM1, but manageable. And you get all the benefits of it. The good IBIS, you get the eye autofocus, the full frame sensor, and all that different stuff. Again, it shoots 4K, 4K 24, 30, all those, 4K 60. I think maybe there's a crop on that. I haven't been there yet. And so it checked all the boxes. And I'll talk about it a little bit more in a future video, like I said, but getting up in the price with the OM1 and even the GH6 or some other things, you might as well consider this camera as well. And so I picked up this camera. Now, the reason why you clicked on this, not to play coy, but was to talk about my first impressions of this camera compared to the Fuji GFX, the Fuji X-T3 I've been looking at, even Lumix S5 that I've played around with, and some other cameras, because this camera is kind of like this, I don't know, dichotomy, is that the right word? Like this black, it's got things I love and things that I hate. So let's talk about a few of the things that I like so far on first impressions. I've had it for now 24 hours, so just first impressions. Things I like about it: the grip is actually very, very comfortable. I like that a lot. The AF on button lands right where my thumb is, and it's right next to the joystick, so that's very good as well. I always like the Canon implementation of the scroll wheel here, and the back scroll here. Panasonic does the same thing. I like that a lot. I'm a big fan of the strap lugs being built into the body. That way, if you look at like, I don't have another camera to show you, it's recording me. A lot of camera companies put the lugs on the side, here and here, and your hand digs into them, and then use that little like triangle thing hanging off. It's annoying. Now, Olympus did it right. They put it on top on the grip side, so you got away from that. And Canon's the other company that does this right, so I like that a lot as well. It's very lightweight, actually, and everything's ergonomically placed well on this camera. The eye autofocus, is amazing. I'll show you guys in a future video. The color is good. The IBIS in this camera is good. Again, I'll show you in a future video. But yeah, like those are all fantastic things of this camera. I've had a chance to play with it, like I said, just for a little bit. But I want to talk about some things I don't like, because there's a couple things that are interesting on this camera. For one, in the box, and I should show you guys, I don't have it with me, but in the box, they give you just a charging brick, a strap, and a battery. Like, that's it. There's no like power cord if you want to use this as a webcam, like a USB-C cord. No, none of that. No other additional stuff. It's just like, it's very, very minimal. So I thought that was kind of underwhelming when you open it up. The dials, although they feel nice and clicky and responsive, they're thinner. I like the chunkier dials that Olympus does, and Panasonic does it as well. I like those. This button on top here is not locking. Now, they have it in the camera enough and recessed enough where I don't think you'll bump this very easily, so probably not a problem. But on professional camera bodies like the X-T3, these are usually locking. They're not easy to bump. I don't like camera companies that do this. They put the on-off switch. You guys see this right here? They put this on the left-hand side. Now it's two hands to go on and off. Olympus did that, but you could remap the on-off switch to the 1 and 2 position. I don't think you can do that here in the Canon. The X-T3 has it on the right-hand side. So does even like the Panasonic cameras. I like this. I'm holding it in one hand. I just grab it and go click it on. We're good to go. What else do I like? This camera, even though it's weather sealed and it's got a really good build quality, they coat it in like this like rough finish, and it makes it feel kind of plasticky. It's actually kind of light. You pick up a Fuji camera, you pick up the Lumix cameras, you pick up an Olympus camera, it feels substantial. It feels more, right? This feels a little light. And I actually went away from Canon when the EOS R came out and the RP, because I'm like, these things are just, they feel like toys. I hated them. I used to shoot Canon DSLRs. That's one of the first cameras I had was 80D, a 77D, those cameras, a 6D Mark II, and then I went away from them. So there's that. There's some weird things too, like this scroll wheel on the back right here. You guys see this? It doesn't click in. It's just a scroll wheel, and I'm so used to a D-pad on my X-T3, or even the scrolly wheel on the S5 I had being movable, that it's kind of weird. So all the movement through the menu needs to either done with a joystick, which I feel is like, it's not the best thing, or you control it through like left and right on the back wheel and up and down on the top wheel. And so it's a series of scrolling to get through menus. One day in, I can say there's already a learning curve that I'm getting better at, so maybe this will not be a problem in the future. What else do I not like? Just some other stuff, like this battery door. Okay, this thing's supposed to be weather sealed. It's got a nice spring on it, but it just, I don't know. It's not, it just seems kind of meh. So yeah, I realized when I did that, I dispowered it and kept powering the lens off and on. Other than that though, this camera performs really, really well. And I'll save that for a future follow-up video. I'm looking at, 16:2.8 for vlogs and maybe some wide stuff. I know this has a ton of lens distortion that they correct in the camera, and now I think Lightroom corrects it. And then the 51.8 that I have right here is kind of like a run and gun setup. And for me, the autofocus is gonna be so good on this with the IBIS that my kids' sports and stuff like that, plus the vlogging stuff, and then plus the fact that I can do landscapes and stuff, this might be a really, really good fit for me. The 20 megapixel sensor, I don't know, guys. You can't do a high-res shot or anything as far as I know, but I think 20, 24 megapixels is a really good number, a sweet spot for a lot of cameras. So I'm not worried about that so much. But yeah, anyways, just a quick video to tell you guys my latest gas purchase, and some videos coming up about this. And anyways, real quick, guys, I still have for sale, any Olympus people still watching me, if you haven't left me yet, I still have for sale this 25 1.2. I haven't sold it. It's in good condition. There is a little bit of scarring or marking right here on the ring, if you guys can see this. Hopefully the Fuji's focusing. I can't tell. And I also have this 30mm macro that has been like never used. I used it to scan film a little bit. So if anybody's interested in those, guys can comment below and I'll reach out to you. But yeah, Canon R6. On paper, it checks all the boxes. And I had to go back and revisit Canon. I was done with them because the EOS R and the RP disappointed me, but this is not so bad. It's better. And they did some things that are really cool. Just adding like little function buttons up here on the top, having a lock button and the record button right there. This could be a winner. It could be a winner. My biggest challenge is going to be keeping it lightweight, or having a lightweight option on top of some bigger like L mount options or L series lenses in the future. I also like the control ring, that you can map these to do certain things. Other companies haven't really done this much yet, or not as prevalent as Canon, and it's good. It's real good. I wish they had moved this button, by the way, down here. You guys can see this. Up, higher. I like it to land right where my finger lands. This one's still here, like where my pinky is or my bottom finger. Not a big deal. I turn eye autofocus on with that button off and on, so that's helpful. If I'm in single point and then I want to use that eye autofocus, boom, snaps right in. We're good to go. All right, just a quick video. Canon R6, the latest gas purchase. You will see a series of testing on that camera with the 16-2.8 and the 51.8. And I'll do a little vlogging test to start with the 16mm because that's one of the things I'm very interested in. And I'll see you guys in the future video. Thanks for watching. See ya.